Hello, welcome to today's assembly. And Friday afternoon's assembly is all about democracy. Now, this week through Tutor Time, Miss Story has put together some fantastic materials for you to learn all about democracy. And the reason, of course, we're doing this is what would have been, I'm recording this on Thursday, the 6th of May, and what would have been yesterday for everyone listening to this now, there were lots of elections taking place throughout the UK. And we want you to understand why democracy we feel is so important and how these systems of voting work and actually what you're voting for. So throughout Thursday, the 6th of May, we had the Scottish elections, rather similar to our general election that takes place within England and Wales when they're voting for members of the Scottish Parliament. And within England and Wales, we've been voting for 21 county councils, such as Warwickshire County Council, 124 unitary district and borough councils. So an example of that would be Rugby Borough Council is what we're in here. We're located within Lawrence Sheriff. We've also had 13 directly elected mayors when we have a system which we don't have county and unitary district borough councils, but we have a directly elected mayor. So London would be an example of that. And of course, Boris Johnson, our current Prime Minister, is a previous mayor of London, and also 39 police and crime commissioners. And don't forget, of course, we had our LSS mock local election this week, when we had Adam from Year 10 representing the Labour Party, Samran from Year 12 representing the Conservative Party, and Morgan from Year 12 representing the Green Party. And you all had a chance to listen to their views, their policies, reflecting what would be their party's policies, and the opportunity to vote, of course. And a big thank you to Morgan, who not only took part in this, but actually came up with the idea of doing a democracy week. Now, what is democracy? I have a real interest in etymology. So those of you that are not sure what etymology means, it is about the history, the origin of words. And democracy has a Greek etymology. Demos means the people, and kratia means power. So it comes and literally means people power and comes from a Greek term. And power in the hands of the people is the direct self-government and decision-making by the people. Now, that can come in different forms. Democracy is ruled by many. So we have lots of the population, over 50% of the population are able to influence the decisions, the power, the decisions that are made. Now, that differs from an oligarchy. So an oligarchy is ruling by the few. So sometimes if we've got a certain class of people within a country that have the power, that would be classed as an oligarchy. And then we have a monarchy. Now, a monarchy is ruled by one, and that's usually decided by blood. So the origins of democracy are Greek. The earliest form of democracy can be traced back to the 4th century BC in Athens, ancient Greece. It's believed that Cleisthenes returned from exile after the Athenian population revolted against their tyrannical ruler. Cleisthenes then slowly established what became the world's first democratic system in Athens. Now, despite the fact that democracy has got such old roots back in 4 BC, Britain remained an absolute monarchy when the king or queen had absolute power until 1688. Now, after the English Civil War, it helped to enshrine in law the idea that the monarch cannot rule without Parliament's consent. Now, in the early beginnings of Britain's democracy, it would be argued by many that it wasn't a true democracy. And you can see here in 1831, only 5% of the adult population had the right to vote. So various members of society, women, people that didn't own land, didn't have the right to vote. And over the years, as you can see, up to 1969, once women had the right to vote, the voting age was brought down to 18. 99% of the population, adult population, now have the right to vote. So we've got a number of different political models from around the world here. So the first example is within Germany. We've got Angela Merkel. She is the Chancellor of Germany. She's the head of state, leader of the Christian Democratic Party, where elections take place every 4 years and 98% of the adult population are eligible to vote. We've then got King Salman of Saudi Arabia. He's an absolute authority as a head of state. He's unelected. It's a hereditary position from previous members of the royal family, and he's not accountable to any type of government. So that is an example of a monarchy. We've then got President Frederick de Klerk, who was previously president of South Africa between 1989 to 1994. That saw the end of apartheid, when people of colour were separated within South Africa and didn't have the same amount of rights. And President de Klerk negotiated with Nelson Mandela to end apartheid. Now, when President de Klerk was elected as head of state of South Africa, less than 50% of the adult population was eligible to vote. And that was an oligarchy. We've got a direct democracy. Now, this is the term used to describe the system in Athens from the 6th century BC. That's when every Athenian citizen had the right to attend the meetings of the assembly. So they had the right to vote on particular laws that could be passed, and each member could participate directly under the Athenian model. Now, in the UK today, we have what's called a representative democracy, and it's a term used to describe the system of government that's used by many countries today, largely in the West. It differs from a direct democracy as its citizens, rather than directly participating in making decisions themselves, they elect representatives to make decisions for them. For example, UK elects members of Parliament. There are 650 constituencies and 650 MPs that will vote on our behalf. The elected representatives, the MPs, meet in the House of Commons, which is responsible for lawmaking. Every elected MP has got the right to vote for or against proposals and a right to speak in the chamber, and they're speaking on behalf of their constituents, the people that voted for them. The laws are only passed if the majority of MPs vote in favour of them. And of course, we have the opportunity to vote for our elected MPs in a general election, and that takes place usually on the first Thursday of May every 5 years. Now, on Thursday, the 6th of May, yesterday, we have been voting for our local elections, and that is our county councils, our district boroughs, and our city councils. And I think what Samran and Morgan and Adam did in our mock elections so well is they didn't just speak about the policies of the party, which were national policies. They spoke about how it would affect us in Rugby, or the area where you live within the UK. In some parts of the country, there's just one unitary tier of local government that provides all of the local services. And the three main types there are unitary authorities in shire areas, London boroughs, and metropolitan boroughs. Now, county councils, so there's the Warwickshire County Council logo, they're responsible for education, transport, planning, fire, public safety, social care, libraries, waste management, and trading standards. And district or borough councils, so this is even more local. If you have a problem with your bin collection, you'd contact Rugby Borough Council, recycling, collecting council tax, housing, and planning applications. Now, parish and community town councils, these operate at a level below district and borough councils. So, for example, if you lived in Corston in Rugby, there's a Corston Parish Council, as you can see by the lovely sign there, and they're responsible for the local area of Corston in terms of allotments, public clocks, bus shelters, community centres, play areas, play equipment, grants to help local organisations, and consultation on neighbourhood planning. So that will affect you directly. Why vote? Why is democracy so important? Well, firstly, it gives you a say on the issues that affect you, from roads to recycling to education to climate change. It also gives you a say on who represents you in your local council and also in the UK Parliament. Now, people across the world have died fighting for the right to vote and to be part of a democracy. It was only in the 20th century when women in the UK won the right to vote. We've had various different sections of communities. For example, in South Africa, people of colour couldn't vote until 1994. Your vote matters. Don't lose the opportunity. Now, we've looked at democracy at a national level, at a local level, and also democracy plays a real key role at Lawrence Sheriff in terms of the Student Council. Now, the Student Council aims to represent your views, promote your ideas and interests, and it's fundamentally a democratic institution that gives equal opportunity to all students to participate. We have a chair and a co-chair. We've got an exec board and we have representatives from each year group. And even throughout these times of COVID, when it's not been possible for the whole student council to meet together, we've been meeting very regularly, myself, Mr. Chislett, and the exec board to discuss ideas whenever we have the opportunity to do so. And you can see in this photograph, we've got Rafe, the former chair of the student council, and we've also got Hamza and Eliz, who are the current chairs of the student council, and they will soon be moving on from Lawrence Sheriff. They're at the year 13 and going on to the next stage of their life, and they will be stepping down from their roles and will be looking to elect new members of the student council. And this year, that's open. The role of chair and co-chair is open to all students in year 12. And every student in the school is going to have the opportunity to watch some videos from the potential candidates and vote and make a decision on who they feel would be best placed to be chair and co-chair of the student council. And then hopefully soon we can have the opportunity for our year group representatives, our form group representatives to meet and get together as a student council. And we've got lots of exciting ideas that will involve raising money for charity. We've done some brilliant events recently for the Don't Look Down Fund. We've also got our different panels. We've got the learning environment panel, the communications panel, the charity panel, the outreach panel, and the equality and diversity panel, all that play a real key part in the running of the school. So I want you to think very carefully when you get your opportunity to vote for the student council, and remember the importance of voting and taking that right seriously. Thank you very much.